What's up, guys? This is gonna be part 3 of this build series. I don't want to waste any time talking because the clock is ticking. Let's jump right into it. So some of this bigger stuff like the radiator, swing arm subframe, this stuff's looking pretty gross. We're just gonna go ahead, rinse it off in the parts washer and then take it outside to, finish it up the rest of the way. Alright, let's go ahead, get the gas drained out of here. We'll peel these graphics off and just get it cleaned up. Other than that, this thing... Alright, so I just noticed this. I'm not really sure what's going on here. It appears that maybe in the past we got a crack in here, something got messed up. This thing's been sitting back here with gas in it for, 2 months, so it hasn't leaked or anything. So I think whoever did it did a good job, so we're just going to clean it up and it should be good to go. Alright, so I got all the parts out of the parts washer, put them in this bin. It's pretty much my entire bike right here. So this thing's heavy, so I'm gonna get this thing down. We're gonna finish off cleaning the rest of this stuff and we'll see you back inside. So if you guys are curious to see what I'm using to, clean this stuff up, these are actually like nylon brushes. I just go on a drill I got off Amazon. These things are awesome. They're one of my favorite tools. So I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested in picking some of these up. Well, you guys already saw this carburetor was not looking too hot. It's probably one of definitely the grossest things on the bike. So we're just gonna go ahead, kind of take this thing apart and really just start cleaning, making sure all the jets are all clean, and then just basically scrub this thing, make it look new. Now, a trick I always like to use is I have some of these like medical little pliers. Put them behind here and it'll hold up that spring. So you can lock them in place like that. And now I can just, pop that out of there nice and easy. It really helps when you're putting this thing back on. If you've ever had to sit there and hold that spring back and try to, jam this thing down in here and fish it in there, you know the struggle, so. Alright, so a lot of the times these gaskets in here, if you take them out or if they get some contact cleaner on them or really anything, they'll almost swell sometimes and you won't be able to get them back down in there. And I don't really want to replace that if I don't have to. So I'm going to go ahead, take out all the internals, all the jets here. I'm going to clean this surface. I'm actually going to put this back on top of here before we clean the whole thing. Man, this thing is already looking 1,000 times better. This looks fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead, just do a final, like spray it down with some water, maybe some mag wheel cleaner, dry it off, and then we'll just we'll take a look and see what it looks like after. Man, look at this thing. I mean, that was probably only like 15-20 minutes of cleaning. And look at this thing. I can't wait. We're gonna go ahead, do the pink hoses on here, you know, get it all all wrapped up eventually, but this will look really good on the bike, so I'm pretty pumped. The shift lever for this bike, for some reason the 2001s put this like weird funky rubber, I don't know what they were thinking. It kind of looks stupid, but whatever. What I usually do is I have got some old ones of these, swap the tips, but if you look, this is a lot wider than this is, so this tip actually won't fit on here. So that method, you know, that's not gonna work. So basically our only options are to spend, I don't know, 20-25 bucks on a new one, or just clean this up and use this funky looking thing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shine this thing up, clean some of this rust off here, and this thing will be good to go. All right, here is the finished product, and it looks pretty dang good. Again, it's not perfect, you know, still a little, you know, rust or whatever in there, but hey, it's a heck of a lot better than it was before, and it beats paying 20-25 bucks for a new one. So this is a win-win. All right, while we're here with the shifter, I got a whole another box full of parts that we can shine up right now on the Scotch-Brite wheel, like the brake lever, Kickstarter, linkage, I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So we're just gonna go ahead, grab some of these parts, take them over to the wheel, and see if we can make them look like this shifter. I need to get the rust out and clean this up down in here. I've got a bunch of stuff here, a bunch of Dremel attachments, obviously my Dremel. I'm gonna go ahead, get this on the drill, and maybe we're gonna get some simple green in there and see if we can't break that up and get it cleaned up. All right, if you guys can see, it did an okay job, but it just does not get in these tiny little cracks and crevices right up against the side. We went ahead, gave her the good old college try, and got most of that rust out of there. Actually a pretty good job. Good enough. So this will be perfect. So we've got this and the shifter done. We're just gonna go ahead and speed through the rest of them, and we'll show you them all when they're done. Wow, wow, wow. These parts look great. A little bit of that Scotch-Brite wheel, some Dremel attachments, you know, some simple green, and just a little bit of time, and this is what you get. So not a whole lot of work, and these parts are looking awesome. On to the swing arm. This thing actually doesn't look too bad since we cleaned it up outside. A lot of the sticky residue is still on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. We're gonna go ahead and clean that up. All right, so I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I basically wetted it down with a bunch of simple green first. Kind of rubbed it in, and then I just took this razor blade, any kind of razor blade, and I just scraped all that stuff off. And I think the wet kind of made it come off easier, kind of clumped together a little bit, and it really took most of that stickiness off of there. Clean enough. It's not absolutely like showroom perfect, but again, we're not making a showroom bike. We're making a bike to ride and a bike to sell. All right, now that we got these cleaned up, let's go ahead, let's yank these bearings out of here, and we'll wipe them down and get some new grease in there. All right, there we are. These are all packed with grease, cleaned up. It is gas tank time, and I am absolutely dreading this because there is so much of that sticky residue all over this thing. All right, believe it or not, that actually did a really, really good job. There it is, looking good, ready for some graphics. Like I said before, it looks like somebody had cracked this or something and had repaired it. This thing was sitting for 2 months. It never leaked, so whoever did that did a pretty good job, and we're just gonna leave that. All right, as far as the brake systems go, I'm really not gonna do a whole lot to these. The brake pads are like brand new. We cleaned them up pretty good. You know, other than maybe just cleaning some of this dirt off. The fluid looks good. We might need to bleed them when we put them back on, but kind of the only thing I'm gonna do right now is clean up these rusty bolt heads, and obviously we're gonna put a new lever on here. Other than that though, the brake systems are, they're good to go. Much better. Oh yeah, that looks great. The next thing I want to tackle is this exhaust. It actually is looking pretty good. The packing's not all like rattling and loose. We'll see when we fire up the bike if it's gonna need new packing, but I don't think so. We'll see what we can do. Look at that. Oh, that is awesome. I love it. I love it. I just finished it off with some Scotch-Brite. I wire wheeled down in here, you know, where all that really heavy stuff was, but wow, this thing looks awesome. Pair it up with that silencer, bang. Look at that whole system. That is awesome. I cannot wait to get that on the bike. Beats paying 240 bucks for a new one of these, so definitely a money saver, and I'm extremely happy with this. Sweet, yes. All right, so I actually had some of these old yellow radiator hoses laying around from one of my other RMs. They're a little dirty, kind of crusty, but I think we can clean them up. No need to spend, what, $20 and buy new ones when I can just clean these up and use these, so let's get to it. That right there is how you save 20 bucks. No need to buy new ones. These things turned out great. We'll go ahead and set them aside. So next I want to go ahead and work on some of the small stuff. A lot of these nuts and bolts are pretty gross, and it'd be really time consuming to, you know, clean all these individually by hand, and really expensive to replace it all, so we're not going to do that. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead, get my trusty Harbor Freight ultrasonic cleaner. I've had it heated up here. We're just gonna go ahead and start, you know, throwing some different batches in here and seeing how this thing does. By no means is any of this stuff perfect, but you know, this is a dirt bike. We're building it to ride and sell. We're not, you know, building it to go put on a showroom floor somewhere. So every nut and bolt doesn't need to be perfect. Just get most of that gunk off, clean them up the best you can, and obviously replace anything that's broken. But other than that, these things are going to be good to go. So what I want to do next is I set some of these parts aside that had a little bit more surface rust on them that weren't looking too good, and we're actually going to spray paint these. Now I don't spray paint a lot of stuff, but you know, the coatings or anything that was on here to prevent rust is gone. So the second we clean the rust off of this, it's just going to rust again. So we're going to go ahead, set it up. I think we're just going to spray paint these stuff black. I think it'll look really good, and it'll basically be a protectant from rust in the future. Alright, these are finished drying now. We just put like 2 coats on here. I think they look pretty good. Not too bad. Looks a lot better than the rust that was on there. All the new stuff has arrived, and there's a ton of it here. Let's go ahead and run through it and show you guys what we got. Brand new bottom and top end kit, Polysport Restyle plastic kit, new bars, seat cover, air filter, radiator guards, fork guards, grips, front and rear sprockets, shock bearing, clutch and brake levers, front and rear spokes, new chain, hour meter, shock bumper, headset bearings, wheel bearings, carb hoses, brand new engine bolt kit, ABS plastic to make frame guards, chain slider, whole bunch of OEM parts, fork and dust seals, fork stickers, other types of stickers, clear vinyl for the frame. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff here. And honestly, you know, the majority of this stuff was really stuff we needed. I really didn't go and buy anything too extra. I either hunted for a deal on eBay or Rocky Mountain, and I really didn't spend a whole lot. So I'm pretty excited with what we got here, and I can't wait to see this stuff on the bike. So I know the video is almost over, but I got one last thing to show you guys. Take a look.
I've been waiting on you coming like a wrecking ball, crying on me, saying how they make you feel so small. When the rain couldn't get any clearer, I'm the one holding up all your mirrors, baby. Hurry up, back to me, why'd you ever move?
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Look at those parts. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to get this thing back together. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up part 3 of the video here. We are step by step getting this thing ready to go. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. Can't wait to see what we got going on in part 4. If you guys are enjoying what you're watching, I'd really appreciate if you guys go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll have very similar content in the near future that I'll be putting out. And we'll go ahead and end it here. We'll see you guys next time in part 4. Thanks.